Kitty in my lap.
Welcome, survivors, to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And this is it, the last episode of 2020. We are taking our shotguns and running this thing out of town on a rail. So, yeah. Mike, did you have a Merry Christmas?
I had a very Merry Christmas. How about you?
I had a very lovely Christmas. Everybody, went to bed happy that night. I am now getting calluses back on my fingers from my new bass guitar, so I'm very excited about that. So nice. I haven't honestly played bass guitar since high school, so I'm really excited about this.
Well, when we can meet up again, I fully expect you to play the theme song to Night Court for me, because that's got a mean bass play. Yeah. You got it.
Actually, I think I just did Seinfeld.
Oh, I can't do that one because I've never watched Seinfeld.
Yeah, I know. It's like there were 3 TV theme songs that have heavy bass in them: Seinfeld, Night Court, and Barney Miller. So
I know one of those shows. Well, I know 2 of those shows, but
Barney Miller.
Watched.
It's funky. Yeah. So yeah, and this is it for this trash fire of a year that we are dealing with. So yes. We are going to try to do our best to look on the bright side, even though that is going to be goddamn hard. And let you know what we're looking forward to in 2021, be it theoretical, be it realistic, maybe a little bit of both, hopefully. Maybe a little pixie dust spread around there.
I would just love for my cat to just stop banging on the door.
Ninja, you have a new...
Oh, no. Ninja's in my lap. Oh. Shadow's banging to get out, and I don't want him to
Okay.
Yet.
Shadow, hey, you have a New Year's resolution now. Leave Mike the hell alone when he's recording.
Yeah,
then goes to the dog, too. So
I wish.
Dog's never going to leave you alone. Dog's going to outlive you. Yeah, so let's just kind of talk about 2020. Real quick before we get into the positive stuff. What do you think the last kick in the balls 2020 is going to leave us with? What's their parting shot going to be tomorrow?
Well, they already did a parting shot today.
Well, Shabba-Doo died. I know that. That's
Don Wells from the Gilligan's Island.
Right, exactly. But now, who's the big one? Who's the big celebrity who's going to shuffle off this mortal coil? I have guesses for either, and I don't want these to happen. Just keep in mind, I am trying very hard not to jinx anybody. But if I see anything that is hashtag 2020 this year, it's going to be Betty White or Tim Curry.
Ooh.
Those are I don't want this to happen. Trust me, I will be happier than I've ever been to be wrong about something.
I honestly, I mean, as old as Betty White is, and God bless her,
yeah,
I think Tim Curry actually might be a little bit too closer.
He might be. Have you seen him lately? I feel bad. He had that stroke about 5 years ago, and it just he's barely hanging on. I mean, quite honestly, and again, I don't want to wish ill of anybody. I wouldn't be one bit shocked if Val Kilmer is, because I mean, Val Kilmer, I didn't know this until I brought it up watching the latest Jay and Silent Bob movie, that I didn't realize that he had like throat cancer. So
yeah, I heard about that.
And it's just like, why doesn't he talking? Oh,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that we just kind of get through New Year's. Don't forget, by the way, when it strikes midnight, don't shout Happy New Year. Shout Jumanji.
Yeah. Oh, shout. Shadow, stop banging on the door.
So
give me a second.
Yeah, you do that. I'll keep everybody entertained.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't really think of anybody at the moment. So
okay.
I mean, out first.
I think there's only one member of Gilligan's Island still left. If I am completely honest, I think Ginger might still be alive. Ginger is still alive, I think.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, I don't know what else I can say about 2020 other than, this year has just been dumpster fire floating downstream on a lake of sewage. Yeah, and it was funny because I remember when we were upset about 2016, and you and I did a year-end episode. I remember we were in my car talking about 2016, like, oh my God, this year is so terrible, and it's just another slap in the face. We lost Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds right at the end. We lost David Bowie, we lost Prince, we lost all these people, and then 2020 is like, it's been a year, just dropped it. So let's start with you, Mike. What are some of the positives about 2020?
Positives of 2020 is, well, we've discovered that we can do these shows over Zoom, which is cool. It actually kind of like, I guess that one of the real positives for 2020 is that it's really kind of broadened our concept of streaming services.
Yeah.
And learning what they can actually do. And like, because over the past couple of months, I've really discovered Gravity Falls on Disney Plus, and that is a gem of a show.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way with the streaming. I kind of feel like I didn't watch a lot this year. I really didn't watch a whole lot of movies. I know that we had movies that kind of came out through the wonder of on demand, and outside of like Mulan, and we watched Eurovision Song Contest, which is a lot of fun. We watched Soul. I still haven't watched Wonder Woman 84 yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I got to get around to doing that because apparently there's something I need to see because people are upset about it. I was more about TV this year, and even still with TV, I found I was going back to older shows that I hadn't seen before. Like I'd been wanting to watch Succession, so I watched Succession. I watched both seasons of Succession. I watched both seasons of Harley Quinn, the animated.
Yeah, I checked out Harley Quinn as well. Oh yeah,
brilliant. On Netflix. With Netflix, I've been watching Big Mouth, like season 4 of Big Mouth. And on Epix, I've been watching Britannia. Britannia came out in the UK in 2017, finally hit the shores this year, and they did the first 2 seasons like back to back. So I had 20 episodes of Britannia to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of like one of those shows that if you like that type of like historical stuff with a lot of like mysticism in it, if you like The Witcher, quite honestly, you might really enjoy Britannia. So just saying. I
gotta be honest, out of all the streaming services that I've got and I have access to, the one that I've really watched the least over this period is Netflix.
I'm honestly finding with Netflix, I don't like their original shows anymore. I've been going to Netflix for the occasional movie. The Eurovision Song Contest was on Netflix. I was watching because my daughter and I started watching a series on unfortunate events. We're still in the 2nd season, but we've been watching that. And Autumn and I have been watching a lot of like stand-up comedians, and we found some really interesting kind of out of the box stuff that we hadn't watched before.
Yeah.
But as Netflix goes, I mean, it's just, Hulu gave me What We Do in the Shadows, which I think was kind of like my version of The Office in terms of just this thing I can keep watching. And if I'm feeling down, I can watch What We Do in the Shadows. And like, I remember like right before Halloween, like we're getting our costumes ready because Autumn and I was Laszlo and Nadja for Halloween this year. And I'm like, let's watch an episode just to see what, just want to get the costumes. And we just went through the 2 seasons again. It's just like, they're so easy to watch. But overall, I don't know if there are shows that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed The Goes Wrong Show, which is on Amazon. It was in the UK first, and it hit Amazon this year. I really like his Dark Materials, which is on HBO.
Oh yeah, I've heard decent things about that one.
I never got around to watching Lovecraft's County. I never really got around to doing much else on HBO this year. I like McMillions. I thought McMillions was a really good documentary. I've been watching some documentaries on HBO, and it's a pretty good place for those. We watched the Bee Gees documentary last week, and it's very entertaining. You would think it would be, but it is.
Oh, by the way, I looked it up. There is a third season of Harley Quinn coming out.
Yeah, I had heard that as well. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. I want to see where they go with it, because what the thing with Harley Quinn is, I know this is going to be essentially one of the topics of our next podcast episode, where where I like the standalone stuff, and I like when they're pulling back the curtain. It's like a Venture Brothers, but they are allowed to say fuck.
And beat the literal shit out of people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really interested in seeing what they do with it. It's quite honestly one of the best things that DC's put out in years.
Yeah, I won't. Well, other than Shazam, I will.
Other than Shazam, yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was just about 2 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah. But I will say though, this year has given me a really good appreciation for the character of Harley Quinn. I wasn't a big fan, as I've said many times in this space, that I find Suicide Squad to be an odious movie. Like, absolutely. If it weren't for the fact that BVS is just a terrible movie with higher expectations, Suicide Squad would be the worst DCU movie ever made. But I will tell you, I really dug Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. I really liked it. And I wasn't expecting to. But I watched it right when it hit HBO, and I'm like, I was expecting like a ripoff of Deadpool. Instead, I found something that complemented the style of Deadpool instead. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm with you on the whole Birds of Prey thing.
Yeah.
The fact that the words Birds of Prey should not appear in that order in the title. But they do make an appearance. You can see where they're trying to go with it. And unfortunately, because the movie didn't do well, they're probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that honestly, that is the main reason I haven't watched it. I'm sure I would enjoy it, but Birds of Prey is one of my all-time favorite comic book properties.
Yeah,
especially Huntress.
Understandable.
And the fact that they have to take a backseat in their own movie just really chased my craw.
Yeah, and I think that's why they kind of like midstream changed the title. And I'm fine with that. I really enjoyed it, and now I'm looking forward to comparing it to Wonder Woman 84 for steady similarities. But
or the upcoming The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. See how that is. And that's going to be that kind of brings us into 2021. What does our social life look like in 2021? Where we obviously, I think the big goal that you and I want to hit at some point is that we didn't get birthday movies last year.
No.
And God damn it, I want a birthday movie this year. And I know I want to take you to a movie for your birthday.
Yes.
And who the hell knows what that's going to be?
Yeah. Or when.
From what I've seen, Legendary is like hitting Warner hard that their movies will not be part of this HBO Max cinematic release deal. Yeah. They are hitting them hard. I legitimately think it's going to happen. I honestly don't think Dune's going to see a cinematic release until next Christmas. I really don't think that's going to happen. Even though I was at Target the other day and they have toys out already for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was supposed to come out like this November.
Oh, yeah. And considering also that, like, we want to talk about Wonder Woman. My son has a Happy Meal toy from Wonder Woman he got this summer when it was originally supposed to be released. I don't know what's going to happen with Bond. I don't know if the new Bond movie. I don't think that the new Bond movie is going to be I hesitate to use the term victim of the streaming service. It's a cinematic event. A Bond movie is a cinematic event.
I think the main thing that would keep Bond off going to theaters directly instead of sending it to a streaming service is the fact that MGM and UA don't really have any streaming services.
No, they don't. Technically speaking, they might be under the Time Warner umbrella. I'm not sure if that's still a thing or not.
But, yeah, they seem like they're kind of like niche enough that, you know what, they don't want to send it to. I mean, if anyone, maybe Netflix, but I don't think there's going to be a direct release until after theater.
Right, and the same thing with Disney. Looking at the release slate for 2021, we are still expecting that Black Widow will probably be the movie that saves cinema, because that will be the second things are kind of in a better state of all clear. Yeah. The movie's going to do insane numbers.
Yeah.
I hate to say not based on its own merit, but because it's safe to go to a movie theater now. And this is an event movie. And this is something that, as we talked about with Tom on Movies After Work, Marvel held back on putting more marketing into it. They're waiting at this point, which is the big difference between Wonder Woman coming out on HBO Max and Black Widow just sitting still.
Right. I mean, right now it's aiming for, I think, May, which is about a year after it was supposed to come out.
Initial release, yeah. And by that point, who knows?
Maybe
at least the first wave. I'm thinking that at least the first wave of vaccines will have been administered by that point.
Yeah.
Given a timeline from my sister-in-law, who is a nurse, we're probably looking at March, April. Mm-hmm. So, fine. Hell, I'll say it's winter here, and it's going to be a hard, cold winter. But
very hard and very cold.
I am looking forward to sitting in a movie theater again. Yeah. Getting that smell of popcorn back. I miss that. It's funny because I'd been telling people for like the first 6 months of this that my last movie I saw in the theater was Frozen 2. And it turns out it was actually Rise of Skywalker when I took my kids.
Ah. Yeah. So, yeah, my last movie was Onward, which I saw the week before all the theaters had to shut down.
We were going to go see Onward the weekend all this stuff shut down. So, yeah.
By the way, Onward, very good movie.
It was an excellent movie.
I still haven't seen Soul.
Okay. It's a ride. It really is. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but my wife was wise not to watch it with us.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. But it is an excellent movie. While it does have some points of contention, which I can totally see, and I will totally, agree with. Not my place to say what they are, nor is it my place to really take a side in that and say, no, that's wrong. I'm really putting the lines in there for you to read between at this point. So, dear audience. So, when we look at the positives of 2020, like you had mentioned about the fact that we were still able to do our show without the benefit of a studio, being kind of in the studio as you were. I love the fix that we came up with. I think it works great, especially for the largest crowd I think we've ever had on a show before. That wasn't in studio. I thought that worked out really well. It was trial and error. I can't wait for us to get back because I really hate, like that whole why it's everyone's varying qualities and it's weird.
Well, it is so ironic that you did that right then because your video froze up for a second. Irony.
Yeah. Oh God. The microphone issues. But this has afforded us the ability to do stuff like have guests on our show that don't live locally to us.
Very not locally in case of M.
Oh yeah, M was our first. We actually had our first international guest and our first podcast guest on our show this year with M joining us for our movies of 1990, and then Tom and Nick joining us for our 200th episode. Which again, another great thing that happened to us. We got through 200 episodes now, which isn't bad for a podcast that only does an episode every 3 weeks or so. over the course of 12 years. Other than that, a lot of the positives this year have been, there have been some personal positives here. I'm out of retail now, finally. Yay! I'm not making a New Year's resolution this year because I want to quit well in my head. I feel like, I think our presence as kind of the elder statesman of the pod world is kind of growing, which is nice. We have a lot of great people that we can collaborate with now, and thanks to other groups like Tom, we've met some really interesting people. We had Triv Chick, we had Rachel's Reviews, aka Jeanette, and I were guesting on Movies After Work last night because we were doing a parents discussion of Pixar. Which is interesting. Yes, it was from the parents' point of view. And we still have to do a second thing because you were with us when we did Marvel. And you're not going to finish that in 3 hours.
Yeah, it went long. It went long. And then the second episode went even longer, which is crazy. And then we ended at Toy Story 3 last night. Ooh.
Yeah. So we get to kick it off in Cars 2. I'm very excited.
I could only see Toy Story 3 once. That ending was a kick in. It was such a great ending, but it was such a hard one.
Yeah, but I think that all the shit that has happened in 2020, I'm really hoping that we can put that behind us, and that next year will be better. The first half of next year is not going to be great. Let's just be honest about that. We're not still going to be able to get out. We're still not going to be where we want to be, but we might be where we need to be. And I'm really hoping by this summer I can open up the studio again to other people. We can hang out. We can just do stuff. I want to be able to go to record stores with Jim and Todd. I want to be able to, hang out with you. I want to go to movies. I want to do all that fun stuff that we used to do.
I want to do a food episode. I want to do another food episode.
That was the casualty of 2020. We couldn't do a food episode this year. Yeah. And I really want to do one. I want to make it good now at this point.
I mean, we could theoretically do one, but we each have to find
the beauty of the food episode is the fact that it's a communal thing. And we can't all have, everyone bring a box of this and a box of this. If we're doing cereals and things like that. No, shove your hand in there and just... That's okay. I'm vaccinated now.
But I mean, one nice thing that is coming very shortly into next month is WandaVision.
Yes.
Start of the Marvel.
I'm looking forward to WandaVision. I'm quite frankly blown away. It's the first of the Marvel series because it was always supposed to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. I am looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it's really WandaVision is going to be so weird, so out there. I'm honestly excited about that. Yeah.
I mean, those trailers have told us nothing.
No, they have not. Which is great. I want to be surprised. I want to have fun with this. I just want the next spate of Marvel releases just be fun stuff that you're not expecting. I want the next set of Star Wars stuff to be fun. We got so much great stuff this year from The Mandalorian. And next year, we're getting season 3 and we're getting the Book of Boba Fett. And
I've heard season 3 might be delayed.
Okay.
Not sure.
Grace Randolph did say that Pablo Pascal is just done, and
please don't bring up her name in my presence.
Okay, that's fine. Other than that, it's just really going to be us just doing what we're doing and just keep trucking on this until we can be together. And it was a rough year. This was a really rough year. I feel like we did have a lot of great accomplishments. creatively, I think you and I had a lot of great accomplishments this year, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what next year is going to bring. I'm really excited to get more guests and more faces here. And I'm looking forward to trying some new stuff out too. We've discussed, and probably next time we do a movie review, it will also be available on our pod feed. So people who don't have like YouTube Red, they don't have to just listen to the audio that way, or just like to lay attention to the screen. This isn't a very visually stimulating podcast to be, channel to begin with. But having the audio there,
we do have one person watching. Hi, it's Kurt Smith, and he says that season 3 of The Mandalorian is delayed according to a post on the Star Wars subreddit. I don't know how much I trust the Star Wars subreddit. I will wait to hear official word, but it's we'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked. Thank you, Kurt. I kind of feel like if they're doing anything, I think it would be too much to have Mandalorian and Boba Fett kind of at the same time. So who knows? There's a number of things going on right now. I'm quite honestly amazed they're filming anything right now. I really am. And maybe this year we'll get some of the Andor material that isn't shots from Rogue One.
All I want is the Ewok Adventure. All right.
Believe it or not, that was distributed by MGM.
Dang.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Oh boy, yeah.
Actually, if I had one wish for the new year, it's for the Muppet Show to finally pop on Disney Plus, the original Muppet Show.
That would be nice. That would be really nice. There's a lot of stuff I'd love to see on Disney Plus right now. I won't die a happy man until Condor Man's on there, but also stuff like Return to Treasure Island, which is a favorite of my wife's.
With Brian Blessed.
With Brian Blessed, yeah. I'm back, Jim. There's so much stuff that was announced, and it's hard to get excited about it when it's just a title screen or a title card.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go a deep dive on you. Earth Star Voyager.
All right, I'm familiar with the name, but I'm not familiar with it.
It was a two-part, like kind of a backdoor pilot attempt during the Sunday night Disney movie.
Yeah.
And it was like it was 2 hours and 2 hours with commercials, and it was like a sci-fi kind of Star Wars space epic type thing. You know what? I got a kick out of it when I was a kid. I had it on VHS. I watched it over and over.
Yeah. The nostalgia goggles, man. Nostalgia goggles.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting. It's just tough right now. I'm just trying to just go day by day at this point.
Yeah.
And, I am, if we're going to get Boba Fett in lieu of a November, December Mandalorian release, I'm kind of okay with that because I know the way that Disney disperses their stuff. And we know we're going to get a season 3. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if they, want more time, do it. By all means, make it a better show.
Yeah, we'll have something.
Exactly. We will have something. Because I think this year is going to really be Marvel's turn to get a kick of that can. So you're going to get WandaVision. You're going to get Falcon Winter Soldier. You're going to get What If.
And Loki.
And these are all things that I'm really excited about. So
I'm still shocked the fact that we haven't had anything Marvel this year at all. The last thing Marvel we had was Infinity War, I believe.
No, it was Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, you're right.
July.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last Marvel movie. Yeah, and just wait till Black Widow comes out. And they're like, are we sick of these already? Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But anyway.
So as 2021 goes, I am looking forward to what we have in store.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows when we're going to do half of it? One of our projects is really dependent on availability of people. So we'll see. We'll see, because I am looking forward to talking about records, and that'll be not so much records like because half the albums I'm going to talk about I'm not going to own on vinyl, but just be able to talk full records, which is going to be fun. And because they're going to be here, I don't have the ability to play music through them, and so that means no copyright strikes. So,
yay!
Take that, New Zealand. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say other than tomorrow night is just me, kids, the wife, bottle of champagne, maybe some board games.
Oh yeah, I bet you Jamie will love champagne.
He's not staying up. And he's not one of those kids either. You can we'll wake up at midnight. He's not that kind of kid. Scarlett and I will be up the entire night.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna do some movies. We're gonna play some board games. We're gonna do a little karaoke. Are you doing Three Stooges again?
Of course, it's the same thing I do every year.
Try to take over the world.
No, watch the Three Stooges, and then try to take over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I really don't have much else to say except everybody, please hope and pray, and don't forget midnight, Jumanji. But everyone who is watching right now, everyone who will be watching this later on, I really appreciate all of your support over 2020. Thank you. It makes doing what we do really, really worth it. And we're really privileged that we have a great audience, and that's all I got to say about that. So, Mike and I know, I'm tired. We host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us here at YouTube, as well as follow us on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio, Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast, and check out our swag store at TeePublic, which is just very nice. Yes. Keyword Geek Salad Podcast. It's going to be fun. This is how we don't really pay anything with that, but it's nice to have the merch out there anyway. And hey, you get to show your geeky pride here. Hey. So until next time, I'm Andy.
Until next year, and I'm
Until
Mike.
Next year. Thank you for catching me on that. Go forth, be nerdful, and Jumanji.
Happy